Hello, hello, hello. It's me, obviously, Jamie. Um, Today I'm running late again, and I didn't make a video yesterday, so I figure I would. Um, Everything's been going pretty good. I had a really eventful week, hung out with some friends, played some cards, um, had my oldest son over, and everything seems to be going pretty good. I'm getting ready for work. Um, So that's why my hair's all blown out. I gotta curl it and do my makeup. So I'm gonna do a story time while I do my makeup. Yay! And don't judge me on how I do my makeup. I don't have those skills like all you girls. And I just that's it's not who I am. I just do it how I know how. And so yeah. Um what shall I do a story time on? I thought I had something in my mind earlier, but I don't remember. Oh, okay. I'm going to do a story time about my pets. I do not have the best track record with pets. Um, and my favorite kind of animals are birds, rats, and raccoons. Well, a few years back, I had a Skeletor tarantula, and it was a cool looking pet, but it wasn't really that cool to me. Like, it was neat looking, and when it shed, it looked cool. Like, it had the white on the black, which looked like a skeleton. That's why it's called that. Um, but after feeding it crickets for a while, then it was time to feed it pinkies. Now, the first one it ate, and I didn't watch the whole thing, but it ate it, and it was fine. Now, the second one, um, it did not eat. It just kind of played with it in there, and it was alive for 3 days. On the third day, I just couldn't take it anymore. I felt so bad for it, so I pulled it out. And I start hand feeding it. I call the pet store. They're like laughing at me, like, you're not going to be able to keep it alive. But I did until it grew fur, and then it did and eventually die. So I switched back to feeding my tarantula only crickets, and he died. So I buried him in the backyard, right next to the little pinky. So then I was like really depressed one day, and probably pretty manic. And I went to the pet store, and I bought a little gray rat. Or no, it was a white and gray rat. And, and I almost got a gerbil, and she told me out of all the pets there, the gerbils, the hamsters, and what's the other one? The real pet, like guinea pigs. She said those are the meanest, and that rats are the only ones that have never bit her. But people just, there's a stigma. So I got the rat, and oh my gosh, rats are so smart. I had told it, at one point, I told her I'd stick my hand in her aquarium open, and I'd put food in this hand, and she would climb up this arm, go around my back, and come up and get the food and then climb back in. It's not like she was trying to run away. She was like a pet, And it made me just fall in love with rats. And she would cuddle and everything. Like, it was just like having a cat or a dog. Well, eventually I was bored one day, and I thought she was lonely. So I went back to the pet store, and I got a jumbo rat. And I picked this rat because of the sorry, but because it was so funny looking, because it had these like giant balls, like testicles, like, and it was big gray rat. Well, it was a boy, obviously. And I did not realize she was pregnant. So or she got pregnant. One morning I wake up and I hear this, and it is 11 pinkies, or little tiny rats in there. And so I had to separate him from there because he was kind of trying to attack her and the babies. And eventually it just got really overwhelming, and I lived in an apartment, and one of them got loose, and my neighbors were mad at me, and it was just a mess. But now I'm not allowed to have, pets here, but I really want rats again. And my old man, he actually bred geckos. So I bred rats, he bred geckos, and now, um, once we move into a house, we're gonna probably be at war over what we're getting. I already have like all birds. They need to be free, but I still feed them and I still love them outside. Um, and I still feed the neighborhood raccoons when everyone is asleep in the middle of the night. I'll go out there and lay something out. I don't want my neighbors to know and be like, dude, this lady's crazy as heck. But I do. So that's my story time on my pet extravaganza with how I fell in love with rats. And I always go to bat for rats. Go to bat for rats. Go to bat for rats. All right. Well, it wasn't that interesting of a story time. And this page is still really new, so I'm still working on it. Okay. But I am getting off of here and gotta go to work in less than an hour. So wish me luck tonight, and everyone have a great day. Bye, YouTube.